Hi guys. A few weeks ago on Facebook, I asked a social experiment question because if you don't know, Shocked Daddy and I, my husband Sean,
Yes, me.
he's real. We have what is typically considered a large family with 7 children. And after a conversation with a few people, I decided to ask kind of a social experiment question about what questions would you ask a large family if you could without it being intrusive or, a random person at the store you have no business asking questions to. So several people obliged and came up with some questions that they're genuinely curious about. Some funny questions others have heard and some conversations took place. Now, typically I would just do this myself, but there's several questions I want him to take part in as well because, it's our family. And there's stuff he hears as well that, maybe I didn't hear or something else. And we've both had our experiences. So let's do it. Let's find out what we've been asked and go through things. I'm probably going to split this into a couple videos. So make sure you watch for each one. If you have any questions of your own, feel free to leave it in the comments. Keep it clean, keep it appropriate, and I'll try to answer them. All right. So the first one, I actually thought she was wanting clarification when I said, what questions would you ask a large family? But then I reread it again and again and realized that maybe Jessie was actually asking me what I define as a large family. And I don't know, how would you define it?
Lots of kids. Lots of people. Doesn't have to be kids in general, just lots of kids, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, just a large family living together.
Well, and I think a lot of people want to know specific numbers. Like, well, what do you consider? Honestly, I don't think there's any one number that makes it large. When we had 4 kids, I definitely didn't feel like it was a large family.
I did.
See? Difference of perspective. I felt slightly larger than average, but not necessarily large family. With that said, though, I think the moment we realized our 9-passenger Suburban was not going to suffice for any longer than we could squeak it out for, that's probably when I really realized we officially have a large family. That, and when there are annual passes that we no longer qualify for and we have to pay extra for additional people. So I think those were my defining moments.
Yeah.
So difference in perspective, but along the same lines. So Jessie, I hope you know that I did eventually catch what you were actually saying or asking. And hopefully that was it. And maybe you really just were asking for me to define it for the question to ask more questions.
So define large family when you have a 12-passenger van. That's a large family.
If you need the van, you probably have a large family. If you need a 15-passenger, you've got a massive family. We're not
or
there.
a church youth group, one of the two.
That too.
Which is still family.
Absolutely. Church family. Okay. What made you decide to have a large family? Was asked by Monica. I don't think we actually decided to have a large family. I think it's something that just evolved over time. Kind of as each kid came along, we're like, oh, hey, there's more.
Another kid. Hey.
So I can't say that we actively decided to. We did make a conscious decision at one point to leave it in God's hands, and whatever he decided to give us and bless us with, then that's what we had. But I think that was the biggest part of our decision.
Yeah, really.
Did the amount of money being earned have any bearing on the number of children in the family? Asked by Jennifer. No.
It did at times.
Yeah.
Some concerns or stresses here and there.
Concerns and stresses, but I can't say it ever actually defined the number of children.
No.
I think it was more so if we realized we were having another one, we would stop and think, okay, is there any adjustments we need to make? and the natural stresses.
Budget-wise, bill-wise.
Yeah. Are there any things we can do? And natural stresses, I think everybody goes through when they're having a child, whether it's your first or your 10th. You stop and go, okay, is this going to alter anything? Do we need to adjust anything? But that's probably the closest. How do you remember all of their birthdays? Asked by Faye. This could be a simple and a complicated one. First of all, I mean, they're memorable dates. In the same way we used to memorize our best friends' phone numbers back before they were all saved in our phones. Our kids matter. So we remember the birth dates.
The real trick is getting them straight with each kid. Not confusing the dates with another kid.
That's his problem.
Yeah. Gotta stop and think about it. It's usually when you gotta sign the kids up for stuff.
Oh.
And they need birth dates or ages, and it's like, okay, what correlates with each one?
Exactly. And that's actually one of the hardest parts for me too, is when you're on the spot at the doctor's office, like scheduling appointments or something, and they're like, okay, and the next name and birth date? And you have to stop and go down the line each time going, okay, who's next?
Yep.
But I can't say I ever really struggled to remember their birth dates.
Never forgotten any.
No.
I would just struggle with which one goes where and make sure I have the right date and not confused with another kid.
Right. Now, I will admit, and this isn't something I've talked about too much, but I struggled a lot after the birth of our 5th child. Kind of traumatic for me. And honestly, it took me a couple months to remember what day of the month he was born on. I had to keep asking when it was because I really honestly think I blocked a lot from my memory, which included the number of the day. But I got that straightened out. He's 5 now. I remember it now. All right. Does your washing machine run continuously? Asked by Chris. Or do you have 2? Asked by Kathy. Following it. We do not have 2 washing machines, though we have talked about how nice that would be.
It'd be nice. But it does not run continuously. As of right now, It's not running.
No, it's silent in the background.
It runs every day.
Yeah, just about every day. There are occasional days where we're so busy or just distracted we don't get anything going.
Or there's occasional days where it does run continuously all day and then we have a day off.
Exactly. For us, this actually plays more in with a laundry schedule, which we kind of slacked on for a while, and it became apparent when kids kept saying that they were running out of clothes. So we've gotten back into it. What we do is we assign a day of the week for every child, and that's their day to do their laundry. And since the oldest 4 do their own laundry, if they miss their day, they have to wait until the next person has their laundry done, and then they can do it after that person on a different day. But they can't just jump in before the other person has theirs done. Towels get done randomly in the middle of everybody. And the 3 little ones, I do all of theirs on the same day, but that's because I'm doing it. I'm not going to do mine and then 3 more days worth all in a row. Honestly, I don't enjoy doing laundry that much. Washing, it's easy. Folding it and putting it away is not.
And you gotta have enough room to put it away once it's all clean.
Yeah, space is an issue sometimes, but that's another topic. Okay, is it hard having so many? Was not a question that was directly asked. It's something that Jackie said has been asked of her because she also has 7 children. You know, I can't say it's hard. It has its challenges.
It's tricky.
Yeah, but even that, it's not necessarily hard.
When they're younger, it was tricky, but as they get older, it makes it doable. I mean, the big ones can help with a lot of things. And
yeah, we've got a lot of helping hands around. And I think it teaches a lot of responsibility, not just to the older kids, but to the younger kids, because they see the others helping with different things. If our kids were complete lazy bump on a logs, this would not work out very well. Not much would get done, honestly. It's just a lot for any one person to do stuff. But, you know, I can't say that there's much that's really hard. There's things that are frustrating. I don't necessarily enjoy grocery shopping with all 7 kids.
Or shopping in general.
or shopping in general. We last about an hour before everybody starts melting down and is over it, myself included. And otherwise, okay, again, another honesty moment here. There are times it is hard having so many kids because other families don't seem to understand the dynamics. People are intimidated by large families if they're not used to it themselves. Either they don't want to come over because they're afraid that they're going to add too many more people. What they don't understand is you bring your kids over to my house, they're going to keep my kids entertained and out of my hair.
It's going to get quieter in the house.
Yeah, it gets even quieter.
And then after an hour of conversation, 1 hour of conversation, it's too quiet and it's like, all right, is there something wrong? What's wrong? Do we need to go check on them?
Exactly. And so we actually love having company because it keeps everybody entertained and so happy, usually. On the flip side, having so many people come into somebody else's space can be really overwhelming to that person. And so I think we don't get invited to a lot of things because
it's quite possible.
Yeah. Having 9 people come in one group, I mean, that's more than most people would invite over if they're inviting multiple friends.
And it gets overwhelming for them, I'm sure, and we understand that to a certain degree, but...
Yeah. It kind of sucks and kind of hurts to be excluded from some things where you know that is likely the reason. But we do understand that you're not used to having that many people in your space. Part of a conversation that took part in the question thread that I had going on Facebook. Yes, they are all both of ours.
Really? They're all yours?
And they're all yours?
Yes, they are.
They belong to both of us, 100%. No ifs, ands, buts, or other ways about it, and they're all singletons. Did not have twins, did not have multiples. Yes, we have a large gap in the middle of our kids. We had the first 4, we took a break. We weren't really sure which direction we were going with life. And then we both found kind of a renewed faith. I found faith. You found a renewed faith.
Yeah. And then left it in God's hands, and it is what it is.
Yeah, here we are with 3 more, 7 total. And yes, they are all ours. So, no questions there.